All right, these are Civic EG B series shift linkages that I want to modify to fit my Civic EE. So that's a 88 to 91 Civic. This one is a Civic Wagon, Civic Shuttle, 1989. I have these linkages, a friend gave them to me. So rather than buying the Hasport or Innovative mount shift linkages that you can buy that bolt on, I thought I'd try to reuse these. They're too long for the 88 to 91 chassis. I think they work. These work. All the Civic 92 to 2000 linkages are interchangeable, but for the 88 to 91, they're too long. So essentially what needs to happen here is we need to cut a fixed amount out of the straightest part of these. So that's where I'm marking with my finger now. So some distance on both of these, the same distance, will be cut out so that these can work on this chassis. A quick look at how these actually work. This goes up against the chassis. It bolts through that bushing there, the red one. The actual shifter, it feeds in from the bottom, and then so it sits in there, but it feeds in from the bottom, not the top like this. It feeds in from the bottom, and then this is where the second linkage goes. So you see that there's obviously one bolt too many in this picture, but that's where that connects up. I also have a nice short shifter here. So yeah, and then these two, this one basically sits quite static. The other end of it just sits on the gearbox. So I don't think that actually does anything. My understanding is kind of a brace against this one, which does all the work. And then this end fits on. This is where the bitch pin that people talk about goes. That's this hole with I'm marking with my finger now. So that goes on into the gearbox, and then this takes care of all the, this is what you move back and forth and twist and turn, and so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then reverse. That's my understanding, is that this one is mostly static or completely static, and it just helps this one do its work. So anyway, I'm going to get under the car and put them in place, and then measure how much are they too long, and that will give me an idea of, well, that'll give me the exact number of millimeters I need to remove from these straightest parts. So see you shortly under the car. All right, here we are under the car. This is the static of the two linkages. As you can see, I've bolted it in place through the bushing, and then if you can see, that essentially is able to slide back and forth on that bushing. So what I've done is kind of position it where I feel like it's centered in that hole. I'll try to show you the hole that it goes into. It goes up into a hole like that. So try to center it into that hole, and then we follow this linkage along to the transmission, and this guy here is what it needs to fix onto. So you can see it's too long. So what you have to do is measure the distance between this guy and this hole where he's supposed to be. I've measured that to 82 millimeters. So that's the amount of length I have to cut out of this linkage. As for the other piece, just get that into place. The other piece is the part that does all the work, and it operates on this. It's really difficult to move stuff with a single hand, but it operates on this. So to double check your measurements, sorry that you can't see what I'm doing right now, but I'm trying to fit this on with both hands while filming. I'm basically pushing it onto there. It will go on there, it just needs to fit inside that rubber thing, but that goes on there, as you can see. So once that's in place, you follow it back, and you can see that's where the actual shifter will sit, and Oh, sorry about this, but you can basically see there that it's too long to go into where the shifter needs to go. This hole is where the shifter will sit, and you can see that the attachment there is too long. And you measure the distance there, and I measured that to 81 millimeters. So 82 and 81 millimeters, I'm pretty happy with that as the amount I need to shorten these linkages by. Alright, the next thing I've done here is used a tire marking pen to just draw 2 straight lines on these. And that will help me, you know, obviously I'm going to cut them apart and then they have to come together without twisting. So just lining up those straight lines will help me make sure they don't rotate. Alright, and I've now marked where I'm going to be making these cuts. And it's a good idea, you know, using something precise like this to check that it's exactly what you want it to be, and also that you've marked them the same. So yeah, get one of these, super useful. All right, now I just need to make 4 cuts, and let's cut to that. Haha. Okay, and here we are post cut. So you can see the obviously these are separated now. So you can see the cuts that I've made. I'm not overly happy with the cuts. I put the linkages in a vise, and then I used Mr. Angle Grinder. It's very difficult to cut exactly straight. Fortunately, because I flipped them round after I'd made the first cut, the second cut was kind of not straight in the same or in the opposite direction, so they kind of cancel each other out. But yeah, if you can, maybe practice a bit to cut straight with an angle grinder, or use something better than an angle grinder for cutting this. Either way, I can just, you know, file down, shave these surfaces to make them flat. It's not that difficult. This is what these linkages are made of. So it's basic steel. I'm afraid the video is going to have to end here because I don't have any gas left for my welder. But obviously the last step now is to weld these up, make sure the marks line up, and then weld it together and install them on the car. Should be good. So yeah, leave a comment if you have any thoughts, questions, if you think I did something wrong or could do something better, or you want to leave a tip for anybody else watching this video. Cool, thanks for watching. Bye bye.